Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast. Okay, in this episode, we're going to be talking about building your customer master plan, Marketing 101. About our guest, we're going to be talking about the way that she has her customer model plan laid out. We're also going to be learning about how it changes the approach to your growth and strategy in marketing, and how you can easily and quickly help you find the gaps in your marketing activity. All right, everybody, welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm.
Okay, like I said on Wednesday, I think this is going to be a crazy episode for people to listen to. A lot of us do not know about building a customer master plan. So today we're talking about building your customer master plan, Marketing 101. And our guest, she is a first-time visitor to the show. She's also a best-selling author, international speaker, and host of both an award-winning e-commerce master plan and the Keep Optimizing podcast. She has been in the e-commerce world since about 2023. Oh my gosh, that's where my head's at right now. 2003, and was named one of the top 30 e-commerce influencers in 2021 by Scurri. And our guest today is Chloë Thomas. But we'll get to Chloë in just a second. First, a word from our sponsor. If you're selling on Amazon in 2022, you know how important it is to stand out from your competition. Let Honu Worldwide lend a helping hand with your product innovation to outcompete your competition online. That's right. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the success of your newly innovative product while Honu handles all the work. Visit HonuWorldwide.com for more information. That's Honu, Honu, worldwide.com, or email savings@HonuWorldwide.com. Okay, where is the boy Blunder?
It's me. Hello. Happy Friday. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It was close. I was on a phone call until about 30 seconds before this.
Oh, what are we going to do with you? Anyways, welcome to the show. If you're new, we start off the show by smashing those like buttons, giving us a thumbs up. Also, let us know where you're watching from. We're over here in Toronto, Canada. Norm is a little bit north of us, or north of me. And just want to give a quick shout out to Cool Hand 99. Have a fantastic Friday, everybody. Yes, let us know in the comments how you're spending your weekends. We'd love to know. Also, I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend and wishing you all the best. I also see an early Wheel of Kelsey come in. So we do have a giveaway today. So there'll be more on that later. And yes, if you're new to the podcast, we do this 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. If you want updates, if you want to know what's happening in the world of Lunch with Norm, if you want to be part of our Beard Nation, you can go over to the Facebook group, Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce collective. That's where all the fun stuff happens. And that's where, you should be too. So also, hello, Nathan. Happy Friday, Beardos. And Rad, good to see you as well. And we got another hashtag Wheel of Kelsey coming. So just stay tuned for more. Yeah. And I think that's about it.
Okay. One thing I should mention, anybody who's interested, that sponsorship over at Amazing, they still have a few left. So if you are interested, I think the cutoff will be next Friday. Anyways, if you can make it to Mexico on June the 4th to the 12th, and you'd like to get a possible scholarship, I still think there are some remaining over at amazing.com. So just throw an application up and they'll get in contact with you. Okay, let's get into this. I think this is going to be a really great talk. Like we always talk about customer experience and that customer journey. And I know that's going to be probably my first question to Chloë. But anyways, why don't you get out of here? And like I always say, if you do have questions or comments, throw them over into the comment section and we will get to them. Guys, I already got to apologize. I Don't know if I've had too many cigars this week or what, but I got a bit of a cough. And if I cough in your ear, I'm sorry. I'll try not to. I've got my finger on the mute button as we go. In the edited version, you'll never hear a cough. Okay, sit back, relax, enjoy a cup of coffee, and let's bring in Chloe.
Hello.
Hello, stranger. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for inviting me on your show. And I love the fact you're giving away a holiday. I've never managed to do that on my podcast, so I'm in awe. That's very cool.
Well, it's actually one of the sponsors of our Mexico trip. This is crazy, but they literally give away a $3,500 discount to the trip. Like they lose the $3,500.
Wow.
So yeah, it's really cool, and the trip's coming up fairly soon, and the attendance is really great right now. So, anyways, yeah, we're gonna mention that at the end of the podcast as well. But we've never met before, and this topic came across my desk, and I just went, "Oh, this is something for me." I love preaching about high perceived value and the customer experience. And, listening to what you're going to be talking about today, my first question right off the bat, you can all probably already guess, is, the customer master plan. Like, what is your model? And, how does this affect the customer journey?
Well, it's deceptively simple. Okay. I
Okay.
put my hands up and go, it is deceptively simple. So what I was writing a book to help people work out how to kind of grease the wheels of the customer journey through the business. So get someone who hasn't heard about your brand through to buying multiple times as quickly as possible. And I was kind of working, how do I structure this? How do I structure this? And then I realized that the thing which you're keeping it simple is the key to making it powerful. So the model itself is 6 circles that go across the page from left to right that start off with the world, then we have visitors, then we have inquirers, first-time buyers, repeat buyers, and regular buyers. So far, so simple. Then we have arrows between those circles, stages 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then that's the core bit of the model. And then we have 3 other arrows, one which goes from the bottom left by the world up to the top right, which is all about the fact your customer lifetime value increases. It's like a visual reminder. The people on the right-hand side, the regular buyers, are worth more to you than the people who've never been to your brand. It's obvious, but it's worth being reminded of almost on a daily basis. And then we've got an arrow going from the top left to the bottom right, which is about the number of people, because you're talking to fewer people as you go across. And then along the top, we've got an arrow which I think has grown in importance since I first came up with the model, which I call the conversation, but which you could call your story, your brand, your identity. And it's about keeping that consistent the whole way across, because if you keep that consistent, then it builds people's trust in you, their connection to you, and they'll buy more and more and more. So yeah, that is the super simple custom master plan model.
Okay. Yes, and I like what you said at the end, just keeping it consistent. I think that's so important, that, and especially understanding your audience as well. I don't know. Gosh, I forget the exact number or percentage, but by keeping a customer, retaining that customer, how much more profitable it is than going out and trying to acquire a new one. And I was talking to Sean Hart, who has a Post-Purchase Pro, and he was telling me by sending out a simple email to his customer base, he gets 42% more sales.
Yeah.
It's
one of those things which throughout my career I've been going, we need to do more on retention. We need to do more on retention, but it's just not as sexy as going after new customers. The numbers aren't as big. I think the platforms are as exciting, but we hear so much noise about Facebook ads, and Instagram ads and TikTok, that they kind of hog all the headlines. And then I think one of the other things is that for a lot of the retention marketing that we do, it's set and forget. We create that campaign that just goes out to everyone who's bought, and we forget about it. And because it's not front of mind, we we just don't pay it as much attention, and we don't go back and optimize it as often as we should. So yeah, it is hugely cost effective for a business to focus on working out what the right way is to get their customers to buy more products from them, because they should be your greatest advocates, they should be your most profitable sales, and the more of them you can get, the better your business will be. And the interesting thing is, where does customer retention start? It starts by recruiting the right customers in the first place. So the more you get to know your repeat buyers, the better able you are to get the right people in at the beginning of the funnel, understanding what they like to buy, where they like to go on the website, which channels they respond via, so all the numbers stuff, but then also the empathy stuff. What messages do they respond to? What do they find good about your products? What questions they have, and dealing with those too. So it's very hard in reality to separate the two.
So you said it was simple, and that's fine. But and most of the people that are going to be listening to this are going to be online sellers, Amazon sellers, e-com sellers. Where do they start?
Well, I think there are two key lessons from this model before you even really start doing anything else at all. The first one is that our work should be between the stages. So we don't work on visitors, we don't work on first-time buyers, we don't work on regular buyers. Where we work is on turning someone from a visitor into an inquirer, into a first-time buyer, into a repeat buyer. So we work in those stages. So that's the first thing, work in the stages. And the second thing is, I hear an awful lot of marketers who go, we need to do Facebook ads, we need to do more email. And the platform is the solution, it's not the problem. The problem is we're not doing very well in stage 1. We're not doing very well in stage 3. We're not doing very well in stage 4. How can we solve that problem? Which might be the messages you're using. It might be the platforms. It might be that you need to do some Facebook ads. It might be that you need to do some emails. It might be that there's something broken on your website or your product needs fixing. It could be anything in your business. So you've really got to think problem first, i.e. we're not doing very well here. How can we solve it? Rather than thinking, we need to do Facebook ads, we need to do TikTok. That's the one at the moment. We must be on TikTok. So it's kind of a reminder of good principles. And I think that for me is one of the biggest things. I really hope people are printing it off and sticking it on their wall, just to remind them to think properly about their marketing. But there is a very complicated way I came up with of how to get started with the model that involves maths and spreadsheets and things, which I found unsurprisingly most people were desperately keen on. It became a barrier to getting started. So I came up with a much more simple version, which is you take a piece of paper and you split it into 5 sections down your piece of paper. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5. Very, very simple. And in stage 1, you split into 3 boxes total. So you've got 3 boxes at the top and then 4 stripes beneath it. And the reason you split stage 1 into 3 is because there's so many marketing methods you can do to get someone in the world to your website. So we split that into 3, which are get found. So the things you do to make sure someone who's looking for you can find you. Basically Google shopping campaigns and great search engine activity. So there's not much you can do there. Then we have target customer marketing. So that's when you're putting ads and activity in front of exactly who your target customer is. For some reason, I always end up talking about fly fishing in this scenario. So it's putting an ad in Fly Fishing Monthly or on a website about fly fishing, or getting an influencer who's into fly fishing. And then beyond that is shine a light, which is making the whole world more aware of your business. So that might be putting an ad in the New York Times. It might be putting an ad in front of everyone who likes the great outdoors. So similar tactics, but in a different way. Once you've got that piece of paper with your 3 squares at the top, and then each of those 4 boxes coming down, think about what marketing you're doing in each of those boxes. So starting from the bottom, what are you doing to return repeat buyers into regular buyers? And FYI, the word email is not enough. Write down what of your email marketing counts here. Is it a broadcast? Is it a VIP retention scheme? What is it you're actually doing? The box above that, your repeat buyers. So the one above that is first time buyers. Those who bought once, how do you get them to buy for the second time? The one above that, inquirers into first-time buyers. What are you doing to turn the people on your email list, on your SMS list into buyers? Then we have visitors into inquirers. What are you doing to turn visitors into inquirers? Now, the little caveat here, which I should have said earlier, in my world, you do not have to turn someone into an inquirer before they buy. I am totally happy for you to get them to buy straight away. I always get asked that question. So before we get that question, I'll answer it. And then how are you, those three separate boxes, what are you doing to get people from the world to become a visitor? And what I find when people do this is you'll have a box that's empty. And the thing is, when you're doing all of this, you get a much, much better result than if you're only doing one part. So the first thing to do is to fill in the boxes where you're not doing anything. Once you've done that, then look at those boxes really, really hard and go, okay, I've said I'm doing something in that box. When did I last do anything in that box? When did I last look at it? I built an amazing post-purchase email sequence at the beginning of the pandemic when it was taking forever to get parcels to people, but I haven't looked at it since 2020. So that's where you go next, is the things you haven't looked at in a while. And then you kind of refresh this about once every 3 months and come back to it. And that was a very, very long answer, Norm, to where you get started. So so sorry.
That's perfect. I mean, it's very simplified. When I hear that, and I know I when I started in e-commerce, it was very hard for me to understand everything. And I think a lot of people that listen to the podcast are newer to this. This might be their side hustle, as people say today. Would you recommend going out to an agency or finding somebody that's experienced in these different areas instead of trying to do it yourself?
Oh, that's a really tough question, because I think what marketing methods you use depends on who your target customer is, what you're trying to sell to them, how much margin you can make per order. So can you afford to outsource? What do the numbers look like? And also what you enjoy doing, especially at the early stages. If you enjoy doing something, really focusing on that, because you'll succeed an awful lot faster than if you're doing something you hate doing. When it comes to outsourcing, there are marketing methods which lend themselves to outsourcing. Google Ads is an incredibly tricky platform. That's one that at the very least I would get someone who knew what they were doing to set it up for me in the first instance and to give me a couple of lessons on how to optimize. On the other platforms, there's a level you can get to just doing it yourself. But I think the decision of when to outsource and how to outsource, whether it's to a freelancer, an agency, etc., it has to be based on the business needs. Is it going to be worth investing? The uplift I'll get by outsourcing it, is that going to be worth it? Is the time I'm going to save by not having to do it myself, is that worth it? And then I think the other key thing there is to find the right type of outsourcing for you. Had a couple of conversations about this week, actually, about how when I hear that someone's had a really bad experience with a freelancer or an agency, 50% of the time it's because they picked the wrong freelancer or agency.
The cheapest.
Either the cheapest or the the sledgehammer to crack the nut scenario. And so you just because you have a bad experience with one doesn't mean it wasn't the right decision. So be really careful that you are picking the right agency as well.
Now, in part of your marketing, I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
Part of this, do you use social media, or do you use other forms of content writing, maybe, or writing blogs to your SEO, or getting guest blogs on your website? There's a lot of talk. I mean, you can spend a lot of money on SEO, or on blog writing and on social media. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I caveat this with coming at it that I am a performance marketer, is the core of my history. I started off doing direct mail. I ran a Google Ads and Facebook ad agency for 10 years. I love the numbers. Okay. So social media is not my natural place. So I just have to put that out there at the beginning before I give my answer, just so you know my biases before we go into this. I think now the noise is so loud on all the social platforms and, on the search platforms as well now, that it's really hard as a smaller business, as a newer business, to get cut through and get great results through those platforms in terms of sales. Some of you will be geniuses at this and you will do amazingly at it. But for the majority, the social media and the content piece is more about customer relationships and customer care than it is about driving sales. So it's more about that conversation piece and consistency and showing who you are, explaining what's behind the product so you can build that emotional connection with the customer. So I think you have to do it. I'm not giving anyone the get out of jail free card to not write pages on the website about the product and about your story, because you definitely need them. I'm not giving you the get out of jail free card to not be doing the right social channels for your market, but they should be more about building relationships than they are about flogging product. And then you'll find the community builds and the sales come naturally with it, which is, as a performance marketer, no, there's no numbers, but it's the right way to do it. You need to be that. And you really, really, really need to be watching the customer services side of social media, because customers are going to go and ask you questions wherever they want to. They're not going to come to your website and send you an email. They're going to ask you everywhere. So you've got to be up on the customer services piece as well.
Okay. I already know that this question is kind of a curveball. You're going to say, how long is a piece of string? Your answer. But how can you measure the expectations? So I just saw Simon had a comment here saying his last agency cracked his nuts. Well, okay, Simon, how do you prevent that? Like expectations, or how do you quantify? There's so many junky agencies out there that I've seen that aren't suited to be there. Like for us as Amazon managed, I have an Amazon managed service agency. There are so many failed Amazon service, failed Amazon sellers who say, oh, wow, I could become an agency. And now the same techniques that they used to have their own products fail, they're telling other people to do, and they're getting paid for it.
Well, yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, I think with services like Amazon agencies, ad agencies, where it's a very ones and zeros scenario, right? You want them to deliver results, and that's what you're going to them for. Whereas email and SEO and content takes a bit longer. It's more of a soft skill than the hard and fast pieces. With the hard and fast pieces, I think you need to make sure that in fact, this probably goes for any agency. You're not their biggest client. You're also not their smallest client. You want to be somewhere just above the middle of their client sizes, because then they are used to dealing with your type of company. I would make sure that you are starting with some very clear expectations of how things are going to go in terms of volume and in terms of profit. So there's some targets you've all agreed that so then you're not getting a month in and you're going, this is awful. And they're going, no, this isn't. This is great. So you're actually on the same wavelength. And if they think what you're doing is crazy, they might be right, but they might just be incapable of doing it. And then I would also just get very clear on what the relationship is going to be after you sign on the dotted line. So how often are you going to get reports? What are they going to look like? When are you going to catch up with them to see what the results are? Because having run an agency, that can often be where the relationship falls apart, because the expectations aren't the same on meetings and reporting frequency and so forth, rather than necessarily the results aren't working. So it's a bit of both of those. So get to know them before you sign on the dotted line, and then make sure you get the building blocks in place and the agreements in place to hopefully stop yourselves from falling out.
Okay, so for the listeners, if you've had any issues, any nightmares with an agency, I would love to hear your comments. What happened? Okay. Now we also we also have a giveaway today. And Chloe, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So I talked about my customer MasterPlan model, and that is a big part of my most recent book. I've written 5 about e-commerce. This is the most recent one. This is E-commerce Marketing, How to Get Traffic That Buys to Your Website. It's been a bestseller on both sides of the pond, on and off, for the last 2 years. And it's all about the customer master plan model is explained. Then it goes into each of the key marketing methods in e-commerce and explains how to approach them. Will it work for you? when should you do it. It talks, so basically it's kind of, if you want to approach it for the first time, this gives you the base guidelines to help you get started really well. And if you're looking for an agency, this gives you what you need to know to make sure you're getting the right agency, basically. So it's not click here, do this. It still does not require a rewrite, even though it was written 2 years ago. And it'll take you through all the different marketing methods and might let you know about some you haven't ever heard of. And then at the back, there's a whole section that's called Chloe's marketing truisms, essentially, which takes you through the tactics and the things you can do that work across all marketing channels. So I thought, rather than repeat them in the email chapter and the SEO chapter and the Facebook ads chapter and the Google ads chapter and the partnerships chapter and the social media chapter, I just put it all in one chapter at the end to make your life a lot easier. So that is what we're giving away today.
Perfect. And if you don't win today, I'm going to see if we can have a link to that in our resource pages for those people who want to buy it from Chloe. Anyways, as you know, unless you're a new listener, we do a hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. If you tag 2 people, you get a second entry, and good luck. I think that's an awesome giveaway today. Kelsey, can we go to a word from our sponsor? A big thank you to our sponsor, Startup Club, the largest club on Clubhouse with over 790,000 members and growing. They're one of the world's largest communities supporting the startup ecosystem, from founders to those wishing to work for a startup and everything in between. You can find them at www.startup.club for blogs, recordings, and a calendar of upcoming shows, and on the Clubhouse app. Just search Startup Club for daily shows 24/7. You can also now listen to their show, the Serial Entrepreneur Club podcast, on Apple and Spotify too. Stop by to connect, learn, and grow together. Okay, so by taking your plan and implementing it, how is that going to change the approach to your growth or your strategy and marketing?
What I hope it will do is to make it all a lot more understandable for you. Because I think, as any small business owners, me myself is guilty of this as well. It's very easy to just do busy work to make you feel like you're doing something you should be doing. You know, oh, I've had a good week, I've done a lot, but did you achieve anything? And I think marketing is an area we can just do an awful lot of, but not actually drive any results. So by coming back to the model again and again, you can go, right, that I know, I'm confident that this is the bit of marketing I should be doing today. You know, whether you're, the sort of person who spends Tuesdays on marketing, or you do an hour a day on marketing, you can be really confident you're spending it in the right place, because you're coming back to that model and going, right, where is my weakest point right now? Where's my biggest opportunity for growth? So that's the thing I most hope it helps people do, is to get a sense of success into their marketing.
Okay, so once they do that, how can you use this model to quickly help fill in the gaps in your marketing activity?
Well, essentially, that piece of paper option I said earlier, where you see those gaps, that is going to help you straight away to put things in as a little kind of, I suppose, obvious one for everyone out there. A couple of channels which, if you're not using them right now, you really should be. And I will end up keeping on going on this. So Norm, stop me when you want to. The first one is email, which is, I've always thought email was sexy and cool and interesting and a very exciting channel. With new businesses in the e-commerce space now, email is often ignored, and email has the power to drive a huge amount of sales and to grow an excellent relationship with your customers. So email, you should definitely be doing welcome campaigns from email sign up, quizzes and zero-party data and all that good stuff, post-purchase sequences to really try and get that second order from people. And then you need to be spending something on ads. As I said, the space is so competitive now. It's really hard to get your message seen. So if you're hoping to purely grow organically, it's going to be tough. You need to be spending something on Facebook ads, TikTok ads, Google ads, whichever one resonates best with your business. You need to be investing. You can't hope to just simply grow big with SEO or organic social very, very quickly.
Does influencers have a part in your model?
Yeah, for me, influencers fits within partnership marketing, which is about partnering with someone else who's got the trust of your target audience, which could be another retailer, it could be an influencer, it could be a magazine, it could be your own customers, and finding a way and a deal that works with them to give you a great result. So yeah, influencers is definitely something which I think almost these days, when I say you have to invest in some ads, influencers could be the ad channel
Yeah.
that you choose to invest in. So yeah, I think influencers can be amazing, but you should approach it like you would an ad channel and test and optimize, not just go, please do something for me. Here's a tenner or whatever it is
Yeah,
you're offering.
Well, and you know, that reminds me about something, because if I'm doing email marketing, if I have that customer who's already bought once or even bought twice, I think the list has to be segmented. But if you've got that repeat customer who already loves your product, you don't have to offer them a discount. You have
No.
a product launch, or maybe it's 5%, or maybe it's, but you're not giving that 20% or 30% to, try 50% to try to acquire a new customer. They already love your product. They're already an influencer, if you want to, look at it that way. And if you wanted to, and my buddy Paul Barron's great at this. What he does is he takes that customer. He also tries to find influencers as well, but he takes the customer, the real passionate customers, the people that will post on and tag them on their Instagram, and then he approaches them to become that influencer. And once they take a bite, then it's, hey, how would you like to get 25 or 50% off and become a brand ambassador? And all you have to do is post or buy my product 3 times, blah, 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 over this period of time, get X number of images, a video, or brand content. And now he's got, now this is, I don't want to go off on a different tangent, but I'm famous for it. But
this is what he's doing is one of my favorite ways of doing influencer marketing.
Is it?
So I think, yeah, I think, it makes so much more sense to go to your own customers and train them to be your perfect influencers than going out to a big influencer who's got their own agenda. I mean, and it's so much safer and less risk, and ultimately tends to drive great results. So, I love this tangent.
Yeah, and he has, like, he sells swim diapers, and he doesn't mind me saying that, but he's got a lot of moms and dads that'll post, but he's got 6,000 images that have been posted and tagged. He's got there was some person that wrote a really bad review, and it had nothing to do with the product. It was just a bad review. And he went out and he said, hey, can anybody help me out? I have this bad review. It's showing that we don't have this and this on the diaper. Can you show in a video that we absolutely do have that, and it does fit snug? Over the weekend, he got 30 people to send in videos with their baby in his swim diapers, showing that there is this band. That's the power of building up, well, the topic today, the customer journey, the customer experience. So it's so important, and it's from the first step. When that person sees your product on Amazon or on your e-commerce store or on an ad, the perceived value, or to make sure that you're targeting that correct audience and not the wrong one, then having the actual experience be exceptional, and then the follow-up. And there's just, I bet you if you post, if we took a poll, most people would think that, well, maybe email's not dead, but it certainly smells funny.
Yeah.
And it's so great. We had a guest on, and I'm going on a tangent, but we had this guest on who was talking to us, especially Kelsey, about changing around our email and how we could build it better. And I always thought that we had a 23% open rate. Well, I thought that was pretty good. He said, no, that sucked. I went, oh, really? He goes, I can get you at least up to 50. We had an 82% open rate on one campaign. Like, we're talking 5,500 emails that went out. And the average, Kelsey, you could probably firm this up, but we're probably well into the 70s with an open rate. I think that's what it is right now.
Yeah, it's 65 to 70% usually.
Yeah. So that's
Nice.
just by understanding email a little bit differently, segmenting your list properly, and targeting the right audiences.
It goes with any marketing channel. You can do any marketing channel badly, or you can do it very, very well. And you've got to take the time to work out how to optimize that, how to get the results from it, because there's too many new businesses out there who try it with an agency once and it fails, like we were talking about earlier, or they try a Facebook ad, just the one, and it doesn't deliver £1 million or dollars. So they go, oh, I'm never doing that again. And it's, you have to put the effort in on all of these channels to get the results you want to see.
Right. And like we stated earlier, it's so much easier just opening a dialogue, and just getting sales, but also that user content and just designing. Like I know with some of our brands, we always buy. I don't know if you agree with this, but if we can't get a .com, we always buy a .club. And the reason I love .club is it means community. So if I'm selling, let's say, soap, but I might be selling soap, but I have this community of followers that provide me with homemade soap recipes, the soapers out there, a huge blog, a huge following, and it's a community. I'm not targeting them for soap promo. It might be 1 in 10. We're providing like content out there. Oh, you want like Mondays? Here's the hottest soap recipe, vetted by us. Here's an interesting topic. Here's different new types of scents or essential oils. But if you start doing that and providing that and building the community, it's such an easy sell.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's one of those things, if you can do it now, you're building a community who are going to bring you sales after sales after sales. And with all the dubious economic scenario we're going into for the rest of this year, that is going to be, I reckon, if you've got a community, you are considerably less likely to have a bad rest of 2022 into 2023, because you've got that soft, powerful group of people who will support you. There's a brand here in the UK called Snag Tights, who make tights that fit. As mad as that sounds, most tights don't. Their tights do. Hose, I think is what you call them in the US. I need to get the right terminology. Those, not leggings, the other ones that women wear under skirts is what I'm talking about. Not socks, not leggings, the other ones. But pantyhose.
Right. Okay. I get it.
I was going to get there in the end. Sorry, it's Friday evening here.
For me, it's compression socks. I'm old. So
yeah. So they make those that work, and they had a real problem at the beginning of the pandemic, a massive cash flow nightmare. So they went to their community and the founder went to the community and went, guys, I don't know what to do. This is the scenario we're in. And their customers came back with ideas, which included, why don't you ask us all to buy 2 pairs now, and they get 1 pair now, and we'll get the other one in 6 months' time to be a special Christmas themed one or something. Save the business. Because their community came up with a solution, and the community then went, yeah, of course we'll help you. Yeah, there's something in it for me. I'm going to get 2, but I'm paying you for them earlier. So the community is all powerful, and it's very hard for a competitor to replicate. So it gives you long-term success, and it's just hard to track, but it makes such a difference to a business. It really does.
So going back to the customer journey, what are some, we've covered some, but what are some of the essentials you have to have in that journey?
I'd say email to build that connection.
Yeah.
I think you need that. I mentioned that bar that goes across the top. The conversation is what I call it, which is the consistency of message and trust building and story and brand and all those things we hear about. Because Norm, you mentioned earlier, the first time someone hears about your brand, they might see an ad, they might see an email, they might see something, they might come, before they get to your website. See, a lot of people, the first time they hear about your brand is when someone else is talking about it. So if you're consistent throughout that journey, you are also equipping your customers to say the right things when they're talking about your brand to other people, because hopefully you're building that consistency based on what your customers actually think as well. So that is I think a really important part of it, because it speeds everything up, the process from left to right. It means that it always feels like it's coming from your brand. It's your type of message, it's your type of activity, and it helps you create the right type of customer. So it's a soft one. It's a little bit hard to do. Other things I would certainly be giving a go to this year would be SMS marketing. If you haven't already done that, I would give that a go. It's subtly different from email, so please do not just duplicate what you do on email. That would be a really bad way to do SMS. But it's a hugely powerful marketing method. And then I guess for me, I'd be investing in email, SMS, and ad platform, and making that really work. The conversational piece and consistency across the top, and those trust-based partnerships. Whether it's swapping order confirmation ads with another retailer, whether it is partnering with a key magazine in your space, whether it's partnering with your customers to turn them into influencers, or whether it's you working with influencers directly, that is something else I would definitely be putting effort into this year.
I was talking to a very high-end premium brand yesterday, and they were saying, Norm, do we have to cut back on our order that we're putting in for fourth quarter? The inflation is out there. I mean, it looks like it's going to hit us hard. And I kind of turned it around and I said, I can't guarantee this, but what I've noticed is that when inflation hits, the people that are the bottom dwellers, so there's three tiers in the search page. There's the low tier, product cannibalization, they're fighting for pennies. The mid tier, where a lot of sellers there's a bit of profit in there. Then you have the high perceived value ones. So those people will discount till there's nothing left, and a lot of them will go out of business, but there'll be lots of volume. The mid tier is going to be where the problem is, because you're trying to make a profit, but the people in that marketplace might be fighting for a few extra dollars. The higher perceived value ones, if you have money, you're going to buy the higher perceived value product. And I target, like I said, these are very expensive products. And I just said, you've got a lot of competition in that second tier. We don't consider first tier our competition at all. I don't know if you have to worry. If I take a look, and I've lived through a couple of recessions, if I take a look and I put a pattern, over it, it's the higher perceived value products that always have that customer base, and so I don't think inflation will have the same impact. You might lose some sales, but I don't think it'll have the same impact if you've got a strong customer journey or customer experience and you're priced right.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I like modeling some worst case scenarios and best case scenarios, because quite frankly, if you're in that luxury space, scarcity is never a bad thing. The rest of this year, it's a margin game. How much margin can you keep hold of? How can you manage to keep your sales high at high margin? And nothing is worse for selling things at full price than having too much stock in the warehouse. So I would be tempted to cut back in order to make sure we weren't going to risk discounting our product more than we wanted to. So I might lower it simply to make sure we could play the scarcity angle, so long as that still gave us enough sales to cover overheads, etc., and keep our customers relatively happy. But yeah, I think generally luxury brands have more margin. Generally, their customers are more protected from recessions. So yes, if it was one of those bottom level ones, I would be being very, very careful with my inventory purchasing if I was down there. Yeah.
And also, I mean, some things to consider when you have times like this. Your suppliers are probably the best people you could work with. Talk to them, see if they'll negotiate better terms. they want you in business. They're probably willing to work with you. And this is off topic, but one of the ways that we've done this, and we've done it very successfully, is we've gone back to our suppliers. Now, we're talking mostly Chinese suppliers. We've told them that, first of all, we want to promote their product. We need cash. If we have to pay, basically on delivery or at the dock, basically, it's going to hurt our cash flow. And so we've created a method where, okay, we'll pay 30% or 20% up front. Then once they deliver it, we have 30 days to pay it. In one case, we have 90 days, but 30 days to pay it. Plus, we've asked them, if we're producing 2,000 products, this is what we do. We take 1,000 of them, bring it over to Amazon, keep 1,000 in the warehouse. Once we get to a trigger, say 250 units, we hit the manufacturer, and we've negotiated already, maybe for another 10% or 20%, to put 1,000 into stock already printed for us, so we can get them on to into a cargo right away over to us. So that whole inventory cycle is going. And if we see that our sales are slower, we can just pull 500 out of them. So there's just some ways that you can do to play around with profit, and that's one way. Most suppliers, I would think, are willing to do that, especially now, especially in China.
Well, the other thing to do, if you want to avoid giving away your margin, is to try and get into the realms of giving away free gifts rather than giving away margin. Because generally, if you're giving someone, I don't know, we'll see what's lurking around the desk. If you're giving someone a free hair clip, right? Probably you could get away with claiming that was worth $10, £10, right? If you do a good job with your supplier, you can probably buy that for $1 or £1. So there's a 90% margin on that. Now, if your average order value is 50 and you were going to give them a 20% discount, i.e. 10, the higher perceived value of this is better than giving them the 20% discount on your product, because consumers understand a free gift much, much better than they understand a percentage as well. So you can take control of your margin loss and find a free gift product that they're going to love, and that enables you to seem really, really generous, really, really attractive without giving away a whole pile of margin. And often, I was talking to someone yesterday who had done a flyer to go out in a catalogue mailing of someone else, right? And he wanted to do in this flyer. The offer was get £40 worth of office stationery for £5. Right, that was his offer, because the stationery company wanted to bring these people in. So he didn't buy £40 worth of stationery. He phoned up his suppliers and went, who would like to put some stationery? Give me some stationery to put in this offer, this deal. So the product cost him nothing.
Yeah.
And it recruited him some brilliant customers on an amazing deal. So it's not just being canny with your suppliers in terms of delivery, who's holding what when, what the payment terms look like, and making sure things come in by ship, not plane. It's also about seeing how they can help you and how you can help them.
Yeah, I just looked at that clip that you put up. I mean, if you could sell that, let's say for $10, and you could drive a little bit of traffic over to your site and say it's free plus shipping, and the shipping might cost you $1.99, you're still making a profit. You're getting their email, and now you can drive them into bigger products.
Well, yeah, and you've got them past that point of fear, which is, if I give you my money, am I going to get anything back? Is the product going to be good? Is the product going to be bad? So yeah, you can use it as spend $100 and you'll get a free clip, or you can do it as a loss leader product. There's lots of options but the success is in how you buy it. And you've got to get the purchasing right to make sure the promotion works for you.
Right. Now, it looks like I had so many questions, but it looks like we already have a bunch of questions. Kelsey, do you want to start on the question so we're not here for 2 hours?
All right. And we do have a cutoff time. So we have
What time is the cutoff time? 10 minutes?
10 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. So, I didn't realize that. So we'll make sure we get through some of these questions.
All right. So let's see. We'll go through Simon first. Does SMS marketing work in the UK and the EU?
Yes. I'll keep it short because
there we go. Question one done.
All right. Marcia, great info, Chloe. How do you suggest retargeting our list when there are products which works forever so they don't ever need to replace it? How do you reach out to them to make them a brand ambassador? Maybe Norm just answered. Is there any secrets that we can share with
Um,
Marcia?
So, Marsha, I'm guessing this is a product a bit like I used to do some work about a decade ago with a company who made doormats, and they were amazing doormats. And they were doormats that had a 10-year guarantee on them. And the average house in the UK has 1.2 doors. So, literally, they had no way of selling any more to most of their customers. But there was that 1.2, and it was a higher price point item. So, their customers were more likely to have 2 doors than the other. So, they did a couple of things. One, they worked hard to get that second sale. Secondly, they did a lot of refer a friend work. So when that doormat arrived, it had a give this voucher to your friend for 10% off. So customer acquisition right from that first parcel arriving. And then they did themed products as well. So they did the Christmas option, the Easter option, the summer option, the option that looks like your dog, and various other things. So there's ways of doing it, but if you're pretty confident that the majority of customers are only going to buy one, then work really hard to do just like Norm was saying with turning them into influencers, but also making sure that you are setting them up to tell their friends about it in every way possible.
Yeah, so I know Simon has a product that's been used from some very high profile people like David Beckham, the royal family. But if you could get, I'm not saying get testimonials from the Queen or anything, but what I'm saying is get testimonials, get that social proof that people love the product, even though you have a one-time sale, they can go. It's I talk about you have to have authority, which will help you with trust, and then that'll equal the sale.
Yeah,
Oh,
and on the Queen front, she won't give you a testimonial. The royal family are really, really cagey about that sort of thing. They absolutely hate it.
I
They'll
was
get really
joking. I
annoyed
hope
when
you
you do
didn't
it.
think I was going to
But,
go, hey, Queen Elizabeth,
but the only thing they do is they give away royal warrants, which are these massive crests that appear on the side of buildings. So there is a form of royal social proof, but it's very, very hard to get.
Oh, okay. Well, Simon, there's a chance.
It's something to aim for.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, this one is from Christine. She's asking, does Chloe have a visual of this master plan and also of these different stages that she's talking about? That'd be super helpful. Is there anything we could maybe post in our Facebook group or, oh, I see.
I just shared a screen with you, and I can give you
Okay.
guys a link that you can give out as well, if I can remember where the link is. I need to. I have a web page about it, but I can't remember the link off the top of my head, which is really embarrassing. But I will send that through to you afterwards.
Okay, great. And yeah, I'll be posting this in our Facebook group. So any listeners, just head over to the Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA and eCommerce Collective Facebook group, and you'll be able to see this probably within the day.
And the other thing is, we're going to be posting a link to the book. I think just hearing about it is going to be very valuable for anybody who's in the e-commerce space. So you still have a chance to win at hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, and you'll have a second entry. Okay, next question.
All right. So we do have a lot of Amazon sellers on this podcast. So maybe both of you can help out with this. But from Claudia, Chloe, if you were launching your first product ever on Amazon and knew what you know now, how would you do it? Are there any things you can recommend for brand new sellers to do on their first launch?
Okay, Claudia, I am a website specialist. So getting sales on websites like Shopify, WooCommerce, etc. I know a fair amount about launching a book on Amazon, but I also know that's very different from what you're trying to do. So the one thing I would say is make sure you own the domain name of your brand and have a website set up with an email sign up. So even if you're not going to do anything else on the web at the moment, at least if someone really loves your product, they can come and find you, and make sure there's branding in the parcels. But that's as far as my knowledge of Amazon launch strategies go. So I'm going to shut up now.
No, one of the things that you can do just to get a few reviews is enable the Vine program. So that's one thing. But I always like doing a form of a pre-launch. And just getting some people to come buy your product. You could drive people on Facebook, or you could drive people, or you could get influencers. Kelsey and I are doing this right now for a brand. We're recruiting influencers, getting them to try the product out, getting that social proof out there. And we just have a very simple website, and a very simple social media page so people can see it. Once the brand launches, people are going to be able to go to those sites and see that it's a real brand. Now, one other thing that I'm not going to get into, I could talk an hour on launching, but one of the things that you can do is have just put a digital coupon on there to reduce the price. So at least your first sales, I don't want this to sound too difficult, but let's say that you're priced in that first tier. I would go just into the second tier so people think, wow, this is a great looking product. It should be $95. However, it's in that second tier, which runs from $50 to $75. And you price it in there, and then people will start buying the product up. That's one very simple thing that you can do. But we could do a podcast very soon on just product sourcing and launching, launch and rank.
Okay, great. And we do have a little bit more time. We can stretch the show out a bit longer. So we're
great.
good to go. Let's see. We've got a couple more questions. Some of them have been answered. If there's anything else you want to touch on, wondering if you have any tips to develop a customer email, SMS list for Amazon sellers.
For me, it would be give them a reason to give you their email address, which goes for pretty much any business. There has to be a reason for someone to give you their email address. So it might be, do our quiz on the perfect version of our product to buy. It might be how to use the product. It might be, a guarantee or something like that. Give them a reason to give you their email address.
Right. If you're just going to offer a PDF file on research, it's just not going to happen. Well, maybe you'll get 1 or 2%, but.
All right, and I did post the link here, so you can go to see the customer master plan model using this link that I just posted across. So check it out, and hopefully that helps. And our last question is from Simon. Are you seeing more and more brands, even those luxury brands, shifting from B2B to D2C to retain better margins?
Yes. Yes, most definitely. I did a talk earlier this year in London to the British Brands Group, which is like the trade body of all the massive, all the CPG brands in the UK. It was slightly intimidating being in front of all the people who run the brands you see in the supermarket every week. But yeah, they were really interested to know how they can make e-commerce work for them rather than selling just to the retailers. They want to take control of their customers. And even those who don't want to sell direct to consumers are currently investing a lot of effort in building communities and relationships with them, even if they're not selling online, because they've realized how powerful this is. And it's one of the reasons why all the marketing channels are getting more cluttered, because it's not just e-commerce, it's also the brands who are investing in there too. So yeah, seeing a lot of interest in brands who traditionally have only sold via wholesale, taking up that D2C route. It's why e-commerce is growing so much at the moment.
Okay.
Okay, all right, and then we just got a comment from Claudia. Thank you, Chloe. Norm, I would love it if you did an hour on product launching. It'd be so helpful for so many of your viewers. So that's definitely something we can write down, and we'll definitely add that to our list. So thank you, Claudia. Also, if there's any other topics that our audience is interested in, you can always email me, k@lunchwithnorm.com, and I'll add that to our list. We always want the best for you guys, RB Nation, so let us know. And I think that's your questions. I think we covered it all. I did add a couple of links. If you want to check out Chloe's book, you can visit the link below. I posted that across right there. And again, the marketing diagram, we posted this link here. I also pinned it to the top of some of the pages too. So you can check that out. And yeah, I think that's about it. We can go over to the Wheel of Kelsey.
I think Faye's excited.
I think so.
There we go.
All right.
So we go to a commercial, then we come back, Kels.
That's right. Okay,
Right.
so here we go. And
the Legion is your go-to community where you can learn, grow, and build your Amazon and e-commerce business. As you know, being an entrepreneur can be lonely. Now you can share struggles, build a network, and celebrate your successes. And guess what? Our community is free. All you have to do is head over to our Facebook group to join. You can also watch us on our YouTube channel at Private Label Legion, so you can stay up to date with tips, strategies, and advice from other experts in the industry. Okay, remember one thing: to get all this great information, follow us, subscribe, and ring that bell so you can get automatic notifications. Okay, so Chloe, I think you should turn the volume down on your headphones.
Okay.
And get ready for the Wheel of Kelsey.
Thank you for the warning.
Yes.
All right, here we go. The Wheel of Kelsey.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
Pull up these names. If you are the winner, please email me k@lunchwithnorm.com and I'll pass on your information. And let's see who the winner is.
Who's
All right.
that? There you go.
All right. So Jessica, I believe I have your information and everything already. That's great.
Look at Simon's comment
And,
at the bottom. Just what we were talking about.
Let's see.
Yeah. Kittymoto made a massive shift away from wholesale to e-com.
All right.
So there you go.
Okay. So I think that's it.
Okay, Chloe, thank you for coming on. I am going to probably be reaching out to you again very shortly to see if you can come back and talk more about Marketing 101 or maybe 2.
This has been a lot of fun, Norm, so I suspect I might say yes.
Very good. Okay.
Thank you so much for inviting me on, and congratulations, Jessica, for winning the book.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Thank you, Chloe. Okay, everybody. I hope you like that. This was a great topic. I told you on Wednesday, I thought this is going to be really great, really engaging, and it turned out to be exactly that. Can't wait to get Chloe back on. Kelsey, where are you?
I'm right here.
Okay.
All right. So thank you,
Kels,
everyone. Yes.
I have something I just thought about. We have something. You probably saw it already in the post. This is very, very limited, and I'm not trying to show any scarcity here, but my family and Kevin King's family we were going to the Formula One. So we had these tickets. We got some VIP tickets. I love Formula One racing. I was going to go down last year. We couldn't go because I couldn't go across the border. In Austin.
Yes.
So anyways, Kevin was talking to the events coordinator over there, and they said, hey, we've got a VIP tent. We only found this out 2 days ago. We thought, okay, well, why don't we see if we can get some people in the community, some speakers to come out, and let's make it into a mini mastermind. There's 12 seats, 3 standing. We have an option of a second tent, but we have to let them know in 5 days. Anyways, if you are interested, let us know. It's a really cool event. We've got the tent on turn 1, which is the best. We've got VIP tickets, we've got tickets, but we're trying to get them to the VIP for Green Day and for Ed Sheeran. We've got Sheeran or whatever his name, like I know him. And then, I'm an old guy, Bob Marley. Okay. So anyways, and then we've got a night out, which is really nice. And then we've got a dinner going. So we're doing this very quickly. We're trying to see, because we don't have a lot of time before we can commit, especially to that second one. We've already committed to the one. It is pricey, but try dealing with the Formula One. Anyways, it's about a $10,000 ticket. If you're interested in it, let us know. There's 12 seats. So just out there for the community. If you're there, that's fine. Just thought we'd bring you along. So it's pretty cool, actually. We just thought it would be the families going out there.
Yeah. Chloe was even saying in our little private chat that it's pretty much impossible to do that in the UK. So, luckily in Austin, Texas,
Kevin just has strings. It was all Kevin, so it wasn't me. He pulled the strings.
Right. All right. So yeah, let us know. You again, k@lunchwithnorm.com for more information about that. This is happening just like the last couple days. So this is all brand new. So you'll see some more posts happening the next couple of days for more information. But yeah.
Yeah, Simon, that's who's actually going to be doing it. Fred Sherman. That's it. It's not Ed whatever Sheeran or whatever.
Yeah.
There you
you'll
go.
get it.
Okay, I'll get it soon. And I do like Green Day, by the way. Anyways, that's it for today. Thank you for joining us. We have this podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. I always say this is so important. We have such a great community. We could not do this without you. Thank you for being part of it. And we will see you next time. Enjoy the weekend.
Lunch with